The photograph was old, faded at the corners, bent in places where it had been folded too many times. A little girl stared back. About 4 years old. Brown curls. A chipped front tooth. A yellow dress that looked too big for her. Her name back then was Lily Harper. She vanished in 1981. A quiet town. Quiet streets. Quiet people. And then silence. No screams. No witnesses. No broken windows. Just absence. People said, "She's gone." Cases like this don't come back. But some stories don't end when people stop looking. Before we go deeper, take a second. If stories like this matter to you, ta like, subscribe for more real-life mysteries, and share this with someone who believes truth always finds a way. 'Cause this one waited decades. Back then, Ethan Harper was 29. A factory worker. Soft-spoken. Careful with words. Lily was his whole world. "She used to count my footsteps," he once said. "Every night from the door to her bed." Lily lived with her mother, Rachel Harper. The marriage was over. The custody was tense, but legal. One spring morning, Rachel packed a suitcase. Said they were visiting her sister. Just a week. Lily hugged her father tight. Too tight. "I'll bring you a shell from the beach," Lily whispered. That was the last thing she ever said to him. Days passed. No call. No letter. Ethan drove to the address Rachel had given. Empty house. New tenants. Police said, "Parental disputes happen. She'll come back." Weeks became months. Months became years. Lily's photo went up everywhere. Bus stations. Libraries. Bulletin boards. Then it slowly came down. Life moved forward. Ethan didn't. He kept Lily's room untouched. Dust gathered. Hope didn't. Across state lines, a different life unfolded. A woman named Claire Dawson raised a quiet child called Emily. Emily believed her mother completely. Birthdays were simple. No photos from before age 5. When Emily asked, Claire would smile and say, "Some things are better forgotten." Emily learned not to ask. Years passed. Technology changed. People changed. Truth waited. In 2023, Emily did something ordinary. Something millions of people do. She took a DNA test. No big reason. Just curiosity. A few weeks later, her phone buzzed. "You have a close family match." That wasn't possible. Her mother had said they were alone. The name on the screen didn't belong. Different last name. Different state. But the match percentage was high. Too high. Emily felt something shift. A quiet crack in the foundation of her life. She stared at the screen and whispered, "That's not possible." But DNA doesn't guess. It remembers. At the same time, in a small rented apartment, Ethan Harper received a letter. Not from police. Not from a lawyer. From a genetic database. It said, "A potential relative has been identified." Ethan sat down. Hands shaking. He hadn't moved that fast in 40 years. 2 people. One truth. Neither ready for what came next. Because finding someone doesn't always feel like rescue. Sometimes, feels like losing everything you thought was real. And when Emily finally asked her mother, "Who am I really?" Claire didn't answer. She just closed her eyes. What Emily discovered next wasn't just a name change or a hidden past. It was an unexpected truth that would leave everyone silent. Claire didn't speak at first. The room felt smaller, like the walls were listening. Emily stood near the kitchen counter, phone still in her hand, the DNA app open, the match glowing. "Who is Ethan Harper?" she asked again. Slow, careful. Claire turned away, opened a cabinet, closed it, opened it again. "You don't need to chase ghosts," she said. Her voice steady. Too steady. Emily felt it. That feeling when a lie is close enough to touch. "This isn't a ghost," Emily said. "It's half of me." Silence settled between them. Thick. Heavy. Finally Claire spoke. "I protected you." Protected. That word landed wrong. "From what?" Emily asked. Claire's shoulders dropped. Just a little. From being taken away, she said. From a man who would have erased me. Emily frowned. Her memories didn't match that story. Her childhood wasn't dark. It wasn't violent. It was quiet. Too quiet. Why doesn't anyone from before I was 5 exist? Emily asked. No photos. No neighbors. No verstas. Claire's eyes filled but no tears fell. Because I started over, she whispered. That night Emily couldn't sleep. Her childhood replayed in fragments. A new name suddenly. A new town. A new school mid-year. She remembered asking once, "Why don't I look like you?" Claire had smiled and said, "Genes are funny." Now that smile felt sharp. Emily opened the app again. Scrolled. Read the message she'd ignored earlier. I've been waiting my whole life. That was all it said. From Ethan. Across the country, Ethan sat at his kitchen table. Same table. Different hands. He hadn't slept either. He typed. Deleted. Typed again. What do you say to a daughter who doesn't know you exist? I don't want to scare you, he finally wrote. I just want to know you're okay. Minutes passed. Then a reply. I don't know who I am yet. Ethan read it 3 times. Then closed his eyes. That's okay, he whispered to the empty room. Emily decided to ask for proof. Not stories. Not explanations. Facts. She requested her original birth record. Public records. Old hospital logs. The clerk hesitated. Then said, "There's a note here." The file had been amended. Name changed. Mother's name listed as Rachel Harper. Not Claire. Emily's hands went cold. She drove home without music. Without sound. When she walked in, Claire was waiting. Sitting. Hands folded. You found it, Claire said. That wasn't a question. Why didn't you tell me? Emily asked. Claire looked up. Eyes tired. Older than Emily had ever seen. Because if I said it out loud, Claire said, I would lose you. Emily felt something break. Soft.
Permanent.
You already did, she replied. That night, Claire finally told the truth. About fear. About running. About changing names and towns. About convincing herself that love justified everything. I never meant to hurt you, Claire said. I just didn't know how to stop. Emily listened. Didn't interrupt. Didn't cry. Sometimes understanding arrives without relief. The next morning, Emily called Ethan. Her voice shook. I don't remember you, she said. I don't know what this means. I don't need you to remember, Ethan replied. I just need you to choose. That word stayed with her. Choose. Emily stood at the edge of 2 lives. One built on protection. One built on waiting. And neither felt simple. Because the truth wasn't good versus bad. It was fear versus time. And time had finally spoken. Emily's next decision would bring a reunion no one expected. And a moral twist that would leave one person watching in silence. Emily didn't rush. She slowed everything down. Days passed. Then weeks. She didn't move in with Ethan. Didn't cut Claire off. Didn't make announcements. Instead, she watched. Listened. Noticed. That's how truth usually shows itself. Not in explosions. In patterns. Ethan never pushed. His messages were simple. How was your day? No pressure to reply. I'm here. No guilt. No anger. No rewriting history. That mattered. Claire, on the other hand, changed. She hovered. Asked too many questions. Listened from doorways. Fear has a smell. Emily could sense it now. Emily agreed to meet Ethan. Neutral place. Public. Safe. A small cafe near a river. Late afternoon. Quiet. She arrived early. Sat near the window. When Ethan walked in, she knew immediately. Not from photos. From posture. From the way he paused. As if asking permission from the room. He saw her. Stopped. Neither moved. Finally he said softly, Emily. She stood. Nodded. No hugs. No tears. Just 2 people. Sharing a space that had waited 42 years. They talked about ordinary things. Work, weather, the coffee. Ethan didn't mention the past. Emily did. Did you look for me? She asked. Every day. He didn't say it out loud. He just nodded. I never stopped, he said. That was all. Emily looked away. Eyes stinging. Some truths are heavy because they don't demand forgiveness. When she returned home, Claire was waiting again. You met him, Claire said. Yes. Are you leaving? Emily paused. I don't know yet. That answer terrified Claire more than a no. That night, Emily opened an old box, one she had never been allowed to touch. Inside, she found a drawing, crayons, a little girl holding a tall stick figure. On the back, in a child's handwriting, for Daddy. Her chest tightened. Memory isn't always visual. Sometimes it's emotional. And suddenly, she felt it. Not the face, not the place. The feeling of being lifted onto shoulders, of counting footsteps. Emily sat on the floor and cried quietly, not for what was taken, but for what had waited. Claire watched from the hallway, said nothing. For the first time, she understood something she had avoided for decades. Love doesn't erase truth. It only delays it. A week later, Emily made her decision. Not dramatic, not loud. She chose balance. She told Ethan, I want to know you. She told Claire, I won't pretend anymore. Both heard what they feared. Both heard what they needed. The unexpected truth wasn't about kidnapping, or law, or DNA. It was this. Claire hadn't stolen Emily out of cruelty. She had stolen her out of terror. And Ethan hadn't lost Emily because he was weak. He lost her because silence won. No villains. No héroes. Just consequences. Emily stood alone that night. Lights off. Window open. Two names lived inside her now. And for the first time, she didn't rush to choose one. But the past doesn't stay quiet forever. And when the law finally stepped in, Emily would be forced to confront the cost of truth. The knock came early. Too early. Claire froze. Mug halfway to her lips. Emily felt it instantly. That quiet shift in the air. The kind that doesn't announce itself loudly, but still changes everything. Two people stood outside. Plain clothes. Calm faces. Claire Dawson, one asked. Claire nodded. We need to ask you a few questions. Emily didn't move. Didn't speak. She already knew. The investigation had begun weeks earlier. Quietly. Carefully. DNA doesn't stay personal for long. It attracts attention. Patterns. A missing child case archived for decades had been reopened. Not because of anger. Because of accuracy. Records don't forget. They wait. Claire sat at the table. Hands folded the same way they always were. She didn't deny anything. I never hurt her, she said. I raised her. The investigator nodded. We know. That sentence carried no comfort. Emily watched from the doorway. Listening. Learning. This wasn't about punishment. It was about acknowledgement. Later that day, Emily met Ethan again. This time no cafe. No neutral space. Just a park bench. Late evening. Golden light. They came for her, Emily said. Ethan closed his eyes. I don't want her destroyed, Emily added quickly. She's still my mother. Ethan looked at her. Really looked. I don't want revenge, he said. I wanted truth. That was the moral twist Emily hadn't expected. No anger. No demands. Just quiet relief. Legal processes moved slowly, as they always do. Statements. Records. Timelines. Emily learned a hard truth. Justice doesn't feel like movies. Feels like paperwork. And waiting. Claire was allowed to remain free. For now. The law acknowledged complexity. Intent mattered. Time mattered. But consequences still existed. Claire understood that. For the first time, she didn't run. One night Claire spoke. I erased him because I was afraid, she said. But erasing him erased you too. Emily didn't respond right away. Some realizations need silence. Emily spent more time with Ethan, learning habits, finding similarities, the way they both stirred coffee absent-mindedly, the same pause before answering hard questions. No dramatic bonding, just alignment. And then came the unexpected truth. Emily didn't feel torn. She felt expanded. 2 histories, 1 future. At the end of that week, Emily stood in front of a mirror. She said her name out loud. Both versions. And for the first time, neither felt like a lie. But one final decision remained. A choice that would close one chapter and open another in silence. The letter arrived without warning. Thin envelope. Official seal. Emily held it for a long moment. Before opening it, inside, a simple request. A formal statement. A final clarification. The past needed words. Clear ones. She sat at the table alone. Morning light. Cold coffee. How do you explain a life that wasn't stolen, but also wasn't chosen? Emily began writing. Short sentences. Careful commas. I was loved. I was protected. I was not told the truth. Each line felt heavier than the last. Claire watched from the doorway. Silent. No interruptions. No excuses. For the first time, she let Emily lead. Later that day, Emily met Ethan one last time before the hearing. No expectations. No promises. I don't know what this will change, Emily said. Ethan nodded. It already changed everything. That was enough. The statement was read aloud. Not dramatic. Not emotional. Just facts. And in that room, everyone understood something quietly. This wasn't about guilt. It was about repair. The decision came weeks later. No prison. No headlands. A record corrected. A truth restored. Claire accepted it without protest. She didn't smile. She didn't argue. She only whispered, "I'm sorry." Emily didn't answer. She didn't need to. Some apologies aren't meant to be replied to. That evening, Emily walked alone. Streetlights on. Wind low. She thought about childhood. About memory. About how truth can feel like grief. Not because something died, but because something finally lived. She sent one last message. To Ethan. I'm ready to build something new. He replied, I'll meet you where you are. The silent realization came then. Family isn't found. It's chosen. Truth doesn't demand sides. It demands courage. Emily looked at her reflection. Not broken. Not rescued. Just awake. In the final part, Emily will face the moment she's avoided, and the ending no one expected. There was no ceremony. No cameras. No speeches. Just a small house. An open door. And a choice. Emily arrived just before sunset. A single bag in her hand. Ethan didn't rush toward her. He stepped aside. Come in, he said. That mattered. Inside the house was simple. Clean. Warm. On a shelf, a photograph. The old one. The little girl in the yellow dress. Emily stopped. Ethan watched her carefully. I kept it, he said. I didn't know if I was allowed to. Emily picked it up. You were, she replied. They didn't talk much that night. They didn't need to. Dinner was quiet. Comfortable. No pressure to fill the space. Later, Emily stood alone in the spare room. Window open. Curtains moving. This wasn't reclaiming a past. It was accepting a present. She sat on the bed and let the silence settle. Cross town. Claire sat in her own quiet. For the first time, she didn't pack. She didn't plan. She stayed. Acceptance, she realized, was heavier than fear. The next morning, Emily woke early. She stepped outside, barefoot on cold grass. Ethan joined her. You don't have to stay, he said. I know, Emily answered. But I want to. No legal declarations followed. No dramatic reunions. Just routine. Coffee. Morning walks. Conversations that grew slowly. Months passed. Emily kept her job, kept her independence. She visited Claire. Not often, but honestly. Boundaries replaced secrets. One evening, Emily received a message from the DNA app. You helped someone else find their family. She smiled. The ripple continued. The ending wasn't loud. No justice served on a stage.
No vil en un masquet.
Just truth placed gently, where lies once lived. Emily stood at the window one last time. She didn't feel divided. She felt whole. Being found isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of living honestly. Endings don't end. They echo. Emily learned that slowly. Weeks after moving in, life settled into a rhythm. Not perfect, just real. Morning light, shared silence, coffee cups left unfinished. And then a message changed everything. It came from an unknown sender. Short, careful. I think we're connected. By DNA. Emily stared at the screen. Some truths don't knock once. They keep returning. The name was Laura Bennett. Age 39. Adopted. Questions unanswered. Emily felt a familiar pull. Not fear. Responsibility. She replied, yes. Let's talk. They met a week later. Same cafe by the river. Different story. Laura arrived nervous. Hands shaking slightly. I don't know why I reached out, Laura said. But when I saw your profile, your timeline, it felt close. Emily nodded. I know that feeling. Laura explained. Her adoption records were sealed. Names missing. Dates altered. But the DNA doesn't lie, Laura said quietly. Emily listened. Something aligned. Not in facts. In emotion. Later that night, Emily called Ethan. I think there's more, she said. He didn't ask what. He only said, then we'll face it. The investigation didn't reopen cases this time. It reopened memories. Emily reviewed old files. Not official ones. Personal ones. Boxes. Letters. Photos without dates. That's when she noticed it. 2 hospital bracelets. Same year. Same wing. One name crossed out. The unexpected truth arrived gently. Emily hadn't been the only child taken. She had been the only one kept. Claire didn't deny it. She sat very still when Emily asked. I couldn't leave her there, Claire said. I was breaking. Emily didn't raise her voice. How many? She asked. Claire swallowed. 2. Silence filled the room. Emily felt it then. Not anger. Clarity. This wasn't about malice. It was about damage that spread quietly. Unseen. Unstopped. Emily helped Laura connect the pieces. Records corrected. Names restored. No headlines. No drama. Just answers. Laura cried when she found her birth mother. Alive. Waiting. Emily watched from a distance. Some reunions aren't yours to step into. That night, Emily stood alone outside. Wind cool. Stars faint. She understood the moral twist now. Truth doesn't punish. It reveals patterns. And patterns teach. Claire didn't ask forgiveness again. She didn't deserve shortcuts. She chose something else. Honesty. Emily wrote one final note in her journal. Being found gave me a voice. Using it gave others theirs. She closed the book. The story wasn't louder now. It was deeper. But the final question still lingered. The one Emily hadn't asked herself yet. What would she do with the truth she now owned? Truth doesn't ask loudly. It waits. Emily felt it in small moments. When strangers wrote to her. When messages arrived at night. When silence felt heavier than answers. She had become a point on a map. A marker others followed. And that came with a question. It surfaced during a walk. Late afternoon. Leaves moving in slow circles. Ethan walked beside her. Hands in pockets. Listening. I don't want to become a symbol, Emily said. I just want a life. Ethan nodded. Then choose the parts you keep. That sentence stayed. The requests kept coming. A podcast invitation. A local reporter. An online forum asking her to speak. Emily said no, again and again, until one message felt different. Short, respectful. We're building a quiet resource for people searching without noise. Would you help?
No cameras.
No names, just guidance. Emily thought about Laura, about the others, about the ripple she hadn't planned. She said yes. The work was slow, intentional. She read messages, helped explain DNA results, suggested next steps. Not promises, just clarity. Breathe, she would write. Take one step. People listened. Claire noticed the change. You're giving parts of yourself away, she said. Emily answered calmly. I'm choosing where they go. That was the boundary. One evening, Emily found an old recording. A voicemail. Claire's voice years earlier. I'm doing my best, it said. I hope you forgive me. Emily didn't delete it, didn't replay it. She let it be. Some truths don't need resolution. They need space. The unexpected truth arrived quietly. Helping others didn't pull Emily backward. It anchored her. Each story reminded her what mattered. Not the past, not the labels, the choice to act with care. Emily met Laura again, this time smiling. I'm okay, Laura said. Not fixed, just okay. Emily understood. That was enough. At home, Emily made a decision. She changed her last name. Not to Ethan's, not to Claire's, to one she chose. A new line, a clean page. Ethan read the paperwork, looked up. Does it feel right? He asked. Yes, Emily said. For the first time. That night, Emily stood at the window. City lights distant. Room quiet. She realized something simple. Truth doesn't demand a stage. It asks for stewardship. And she was ready. But a final test still waited. One moment that would prove whether truth could heal or only expose. Emily didn't plan to help anyone. Just happened. One message, then another. Late at night, early mornings. Strangers, polite, careful. I saw your story. I think I'm connected. I'm not sure what to do. Emily read every word slowly. She remembered that feeling. The pause before truth. The fear of hoping. She replied with short sentences. No rus. Take your time. Breathe first. She didn't promise answers. She offered calm. That was enough. Her apartment stayed quiet. Lamp light. Laptop open.
No cámara.
No audience. Just messages moving back and forth. One woman wrote, I waited 30 years to ask this. Emily typed, you waited because you survived. Silence followed. Then relief. Ethan noticed the change. You're carrying a lot, he said gently. Emily shook her head. No, she replied. I'm sharing it. That was the difference. She never shared names. Never shared details. Only steps. How to read results. What to expect emotionally. When to stop scrolling. People trusted her. Because she didn't rush them. One message stayed with her. If I find nothing, will I regret looking? Emily paused before replying. You'll regret staying silent longer. She wrote, but you won't regret knowing yourself. Outside, the city moved on. Cars passed. Lights changed. Inside, lives shifted quietly. Emily realized something unexpected. Helping others didn't pull her back into the past. It placed her firmly in the present. Claire watched from a distance. You don't owe anyone this, she said once. Emily answered calmly. I know. That's why I choose it. No argument followed. Weeks passed. Messages slowed. Then steadied. Emily didn't feel drained. She felt anchored. Purpose without pressure. One evening, she closed the laptop earlier than usual. Stood by the window. Watched the river lights flicker. She smiled. Not because everything was solved. Because something was aligned. The moral twist arrived softly. Truth isn't powerful because it exposes. It's powerful because it connects. Emily whispered to herself, quiet help still counts. And for the first time, she believed it. But helping others would soon ask something personal in return, a goodbye she hadn't prepared for. The test didn't come with warning. It rarely does. Emily learned about it through a letter. Handwritten, uneven ink. From Claire. I'm moving, it said. No forwarding address. This isn't running. It's making room. Emily read it twice. Then once more. Some endings don't ask permission. They met one last time. Not planned. Just necessary. A park bench. Late evening. Same golden light as before. Claire looked smaller. Not weaker. Just lighter. I won't be nearby anymore, Claire said. You deserve quiet. Emily didn't argue. I know, she replied. No anger lived there now. Only understanding. Claire continued, voice steady. I loved you the only way I knew how. But love without truth creates shadows. Emily listened. Fully. That was new. They sat in silence. Wind moving leaves. Time slowing. Claire stood first. I'm proud of you, she said. Emily nodded. Take care, she answered. No hug. No goodbye that lingered. Just closure. Emily walked home alone. She didn't feel abandoned. She felt released. That was the unexpected truth. Healing doesn't always reunite. Sometimes it separates gently. Weeks passed. The messages slowed. The requests faded. Emily kept helping quietly, but less. She chose herself more often now. Morning runs. Long books. Evenings without explanation. One night Ethan asked, Do you regret searching? Emily thought carefully. No, she said. I regret the silence before it. She opened her journal. Wrote one final entry. Truth didn't give me answers. It gave me agency. She closed the book. The moral wasn't dramatic. It was grounded. You can honor the past without living inside it. You can love people without protecting their lies. And you can be found without being owned. Emily stood at the window again. Same place, different person. The city moved. Life continued. She didn't need witnesses anymore. Her story wasn't unresolved. It was complete. Truth isn't loud. It doesn't chase. It waits until you're ready to walk beside it. And when you do, lets you go. The epilogue didn't arrive as a moment. It arrived as days. Ordinary ones. Emily noticed it first on a Tuesday. No messages waiting. No questions to answer. Just sunlight on the floor. Dust moving slowly. Peace can feel unfamiliar when chaos has been loud for years. Emily started small. She planted herbs on the windowsill. Mint, basil, things that needed care, but didn't ask for explanations. She liked that. Ethan watched her from a distance. Not hovering, not guiding. One evening he said, You seem lighter. Emily smiled. I stopped carrying stories that weren't mine to finish. That was the truth. The resource group continued without her daily presence. Others had stepped in. She had taught them enough. Letting go, she learned, was also a form of trust. Months later, Emily received one last message. From Laura. I found my peace. I hope you did too. Emily typed back slowly. I did. Thank you for reminding me why truth matters. There was no grand reflection. No montage of the past. Emily didn't need to revisit it anymore. Memory had settled into something softer. One afternoon, Emily visited the river alone. Same bench, same water. She didn't sit. She kept walking. That mattered. The unexpected truth of the ending was simple. The story everyone followed had already ended. What remained was a life no one needed to watch. Emily chose a new routine. Morning walks, evening writing. Not about loss, about observation. She wrote sentences like, Stillness isn't empty. Clarity arrives when you stop chasing. One night Ethan asked gently, Do you think you'd do it all again? Emily paused. Yes, she said. But slower.
Kinder.
She turned off the light. Window open. Air cool. No ghosts of the past followed her now. Only the present.
Asterisco final moral twist asterisco asterisco.
Being found didn't save her. Telling the truth didn't fix everything. What changed her was choosing honesty, without spectacle, and walking forward, without needing permission. Emily closed her eyes. Tomorrow waited, and for the first time, that felt like enough.